You can access the entire episode now on our website, forbiddenknowledge.news, Rumble, and all podcast platforms. There's some things that Agua and yourself mentioned that I'd love to cover before, and that's your understanding of our cosmology and what lies beyond what we perceive as our atmosphere, the firmament. I've had so many different understandings come through here, and the one thing I can tell you that I know for sure is that we are being lied to about the nature of our reality and what we're on here. I have not adopted the flat earth view nor the round earth view. I consider both, and I think that there are answers that lie between. But when it comes to the researchers that a lot of the flat earthers do, to the level of revelation that you can come to by listening to a good researcher, because of the way that they break down the mechanics of this reality that don't make sense according to the traditional round earth model, and a lot of these individuals are doing great research. I think there's a lot more to it that we still don't understand, but I would love to hear your perceptions about what we're on here. Let's start with Agua.
Yeah, really well articulated, Chris. I always start this conversation with a little disclaimer and a prefix. So what I would say to begin with is it really doesn't matter what the shape of the earth is fundamentally. Yeah, it's, even if we knew the exact shape of the earth, it doesn't fundamentally change our day-to-day reality immediately. However, what it does do is once we realize, at least to some degree, a basic construct of the earth, we can piece together everything else about our history, everything else about how we operate, everything else about how nature works. We can reverse engineer all of that. So to give an example, I think it's pretty clear, we can all agree, regardless whether you're flat earther, ball earther, that there are beings out there. Let's call them extraterrestrial beings. We can all agree. Some will call them angels, someone will call them demons, someone will call them Anunnaki. It doesn't matter what word you use. There are other beings that are not human, that have other forms, that are outside this space and time that we're in right now. Now, just by reasoning, in my mind, it makes more sense that extraterrestrials would be extraterrestrial. Extra
land.
More terrestrial, land, more land. They're on lands beyond this land. That makes more sense to me. When I think about that from the ball earth perspective, the idea of other beings being on other round balls in all kinds of directions, millions of miles away, makes no sense. It makes more sense that we're on this plane of some sort that is possibly, I want to say infinite, even though infinite doesn't exist, but it's much larger. I don't subscribe to the flat earth with a dome enclosed and that's it, right? So for me, it makes so much more sense that we live on this vast plane with many puddles, let's call them that, or many globes that are sunken into this plane. And there are many extraterrestrial civilizations that sometimes interact with one another. Some of them are in contact at government levels. Some of them are open and in open contact with each other as civilizations and races. And we lose and gain control or contact with one another over time. This makes so much sense. This explains all the unexplainable things like pyramids and, paintings and all kinds of things that we seem to not be able to explain. So to me, that is absolutely my truth, is that the earth, I'm not spinning, I'm not upside down. Everything is exactly as my senses tell me. Everything revolves around me, or around us, above us. The sun, the moon, the stars, and this earth is stationary. That's my truth. The exact construct and dimensions, we could argue for another 1,000 years. We will never know until we've actually seen it with our eyes. So that's how I approach this whole topic of what the Earth is, or the construct. Ultimately, it's a simulation, which is something we can go into, and there's a reason why it's simulated or matrixed the way it is, which is now going more into the spiritual side of things.
Now, this also gets into what we are viewing when we look at stars, the moon, and the sun. These are also considered luminaries in some groups. What do you see these as? Are they some sort of markers for energetics in time and space? Are they actual conscious entities? What do you think that these are?
Well, there's a picture behind you there of a tree, as above, so below. Yeah. What we're seeing above us, as far as I'm concerned, is a direct map of what is below here on Earth. Every star, every constellation, everything up there is a mirror of everything down here. If we want to know what the universe is or has, study the stars, look up, study what's up there, and you'll know everything about what's down here and what's in us. That's how everything, as far as I'm concerned, has been created. It's been created to mirror and reveal itself if we take an introspective look at it. So for instance, I would strongly suggest, it's a suggestion or hypothesis, that the 12 constellations above us, what we call the 12 constellations that the sun revolves through, yeah? The zodiac, the zoo-de-arc. Zoo meaning animals or beings. Thereof, arc is something that holds or is a doorway or is a container, right? So the zodiac or the zodiac up there is a mirror of the zodiac down here. Just like there are 12 constellations or 12 worlds up there, there are 12 worlds down here that mirror each constellation. So what we know about the constellation Leo, for instance, Leo has certain qualities that it's imbued with, certain things we know about the Leo energy. I'm suggesting that there is a planet here on Earth, a plane, a dome, a realm that is directly mirrored to the constellation Leo. And the beings there look, act, and resemble the energies and influences of the zodiac Leo.
Now, what are your thoughts about the moon? There's plenty of different theories as to what this is. Some believe it's even an artificial structure that's not part of our natural cosmos. What do you think about that?
I agree, yeah.
No, you go.
No. Take it.
I mean, I listened to your show the other day talking about, was it you? Maybe it was another one, about the moon being an artificial construct, of course, and it's where when we pass on, we go back up to the moon as the portal and come back down.
I think I heard that
spirit,
too.
you know. Yeah. And it's not a feminine entity. It's more not male or feminine. It's, and again, with the previous question about what I believe, what the cosmos is, and so on. I'm like I've heard you say a few times, Chris. I all of it is fantastical and brilliant, and I'm open to it. And there's things that I resonate with, and it's feeling. So when Agua first put the flat Earth and the cosmos and the cosmic egg back in, 2018, 19, whatever, 17, it just resonated with me, and I can't say why. And it's the same with what's up there. I listen to all these brilliant people. I'm around at this community. I listen to all these brilliant podcasts, and I just don't know. Until I get there and see for myself, I'm open to all these ideas and perspectives, to be honest. But the moon, I look at it every evening and sometimes risings, and I don't know. I just don't know what's happening there. I don't know what's your idea on.
Well, I try to syncretize as much as I can. There's a science called syncretism, which is a science whereby you look at pieces of everything and then you come up with a conclusion based on what mythology says, science says.